Okay, so basically, the relationship of the small tables you see here is that these small tables at the bottom, when you multiply them, they equal the table on the top. And this will be important in a bit, but it's just true for everything. It will help generally when you're analyzing, because chances are sir might change what's available in the data and what isn't. So this is just a general relationship between everything in the small table side. This is a copy of the exercise without anything solved. So we're gonna start first with the top row. To get the market share for year 2, that's very simply the year 2 revenue of the brand divided by the market value. That's about 8.07. To get the revenue for year 1, we're just going to do the volume times the price. And that will give you 540 million. Alternatively, you can just take 8% of the 6 billion market size, but it's easier to do volume times price. And then for profit, very simply, the revenue minus the cost. And then taking that same relationship, we have here the revenue of year 2 minus the profit. That should give you about 535,000. Okay, so with the second row, the thing is you can't solve it completely without that table on the right. So what we can solve is actually, oops, that wasn't supposed to be there. The market size, which is basically just your volume of the brand divided, not multiplied, divided by the 10%, and that gives you the market earnings for the market volume. Now you can't actually do anything else with the second row, but you can start with the third row. Let me just remove these. It's not supposed to be here. Okay, so basically we can start with year 2 because it's given to us. To get the occasional users, it's just the number of consumers minus the loyal consumers. It gives you about 680,000. And now you need the small table on the right. So using the information here, we can use a target market of 10 million to get the number of consumers for year 1. And the way to do that is just the 10 million times the 12% of trial, because your consumers are the ones actually trying your product. So that's the relationship of the small table and the bigger set of tables you see here. To get the number of loyal users, it's again using the small table, that target market of 10 million times the 5% loyal users gives you 500,000. And then to get the occasional users, it's just that year 1 minus that 500,000 loyal users. Okay, so now we need to solve everything on this small table so that the rest of the exercise becomes easy. The relationship basically is 12% of your target market, your 10 million, is that 1.2 million on the left side. If you copy that same relationship, you're now looking at the target market year 2, 10 million, and you're looking for what percent is 1.1 million of that. So you just E29 over Y19, that's 11.6. Same idea with the loyalty, which is 500,000. What percent is that of the 10 million? It's, oh, sorry. That should have been year 2. B39. There we go. And then when you're adding and subtracting percentages, it's really just year 2 minus year 1. And then you just do the same at the bottom. Year 2 minus year 1. Year 2 minus year 1. Okay. And then to solve this conversion at the bottom, it's just the lower value over the top value. So basically it's just, if it says aware to consider, it's a consideration percent over the awareness percent. And you just copy that relationship with everything else. So that would be 40 over 60. And then you just solve that for everything else on the table. And then again, you just subtract the percentages. And then that's this whole small table done. So if we're looking at the, where am I? Ah, yes, if we're looking at the average consumption per consumer, actually you can solve that by doing, for year 2, you can do that by multiplying that 16 at the bottom times the consumption per use. And that would tell you how often, or how much on average they consume. And then for average consumption per user, for year 1, you're going to look at the volume. You're going to look at how many consumers there were on year 1, and then you're just going to divide that like so. That should give you about 3. And then using that relationship, that 16 times 0.2 gave us the 3.2. So it stands to reason that if we're now missing consumption per use, it's just the 3 divided by the 15. So if we do that really quickly, oops, that should give us the same value of 0.2. And then, where am I? Ah, yes. And then, that 3.2, you're going to multiply that by this 1.1 million. And that gives you the volume for year 2. And then you're going to get that volume of the brand over the market volume size to get the share. And then to get the price per volume, it's just the year 2 revenue divided by the year 2 volume. And then after that, the growth percentage is just year 2 over year 1 in parentheses minus 1. And that's basically the whole exercise.